Hello and welcome back to our final video lesson on linear equations benchmark review. We've covered 1 and 2 step equations. We've covered where the x is a little more difficult to get by itself because there's some simplifying to do first. And now we're going to do what is somewhat difficult for kids because there is more than one letter in these equations. And kids get a little thrown off when they're asked to do math on letters. But the process is actually a little easier since you can't actually do the math. You just leave it in whatever form that shows the math that's required. If you get the numbers, then you plug in and do the arithmetic. So we'll start with converting standard form of a linear equation into something called slope-intercept form. We think of this as y equals mx plus b. The typical form for standard we see written as ax plus by equals c, where the letters A, B, and C are numbers, but the X and Y are variables. So for number 13, the Y is not by itself. It's got some stuff being done to it. Sometimes kids try to read from right to left, thinking there's a minus 3x there. That's not actually the way it is. This is a positive 3x that gets undone by subtracting, leaving a negative y on this side, and 10 minus 3x since 10 and 3x are not like terms. Now the y is almost by itself. It's got a negative 1 out in front. We can divide both sides by negative 1, leaving positive y equals 10 divided by negative 1 is negative 10. Negative 3 over negative 1 is a positive 3x. And from this, you could identify the slope and the y-intercept. It's not necessary for the benchmark, but that's where we end up moving this idea later in the semester. Why don't you try number 14? Hit pause. Okay. The method starts off the same. We subtract a 3x from both sides. We can't combine a 12 and a 3x, so we're left with a negative 4y that needs to be divided by negative 4 to get the y by itself, leaving 12 over negative 4, which is negative 3, plus 3 over negative 4, which is positive 3/4 x. Okay. Finally, we want to solve for a given variable when there are, in this case, no numbers. The benchmark, you might see a 1 or a 2 or a 3 somewhere in there, but solve for the given variable. I'm going to say we need to solve for b. So in this equation, if we want to solve for b, we notice b has two things being done to it, a plus and a times. We undo the plus first, leaving ab equals d minus c. And then the b is still being multiplied. You undo multiplication with division. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. We get b equals d minus c over a. Or you could write d over a minus c over a. But both forms are acceptable. Most kids are going to leave it in this form. We like to break it apart if we can reduce a fraction. Obviously with letters we're not going to be able to. All right, have a look at 16 here and hit pause. See how you go at finding the x. Okay, the x has two things being done to it, times a and a divide by k. So one of the ways we deal with that is we undo one of them first. Doesn't really matter which one. Let's try undoing the multiplication of a with dividing by a. And I've gotten used to writing it over here. If you divide anything separated by plus or minuses, you have to draw a long fraction bar. That leaves me with x over k equals d minus m over a. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by k, or k over 1. And this will turn into x equals k times d minus m, all of it, over a. Look at some of the problems on your review and get ready to talk about it before or after school, and let's get the benchmark passed. Have a good day.